Hey guys, Jess with Peekaboo Wreaths. We are back to finish this wreath. Thankful to say that. I'm excited to see how this turns out. In our last video, I was talking about these silver bells, like the song, but I'm going to spare you the serenade. If you can hear them, they're actually functioning silver bells. We're not playing around here. There's 3 of them, which I thought was a good number to use. Our sign here, "Oh, come let us adore him with baby Jesus." The capital H, of course. Those silver bells, I actually bought, thankfully hopefully this won't come undone on camera. They're from Hobby Lobby, $21.99, but they were half off last year. So I assume that they're gonna be available this time. It's a really good deal for all those bells because they're so big. They're actually metal. We do have our ornaments here that we're gonna be adding in. We have 3 different finishes of white. And then we have these silver ficus leaves. Spray painted silver. We're gonna get our turquoise greenery picks ready too. There's a lot of glitter in this wreath, you guys. I mean, after my whole spiel about how I'm not a big fan of glitter around Christmas, here we are, glittering up our Christmas wreath. All right, so we have these turquoise. It's not greenery technically, they're gorgeous leaves. I think we're gonna cut each stem into 2 pieces. So I'm gonna try to cut it like that so that it looks like a natural cut and that they're all similar in size. So let's cut that and see how it looks like a second one, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to try to cut them in a way that they look even in size. We're going to need 18 of them. So let's see, let's cut this one here. You guys know counting on camera is not my strong point. I think that was 6. So let's see. All right, let's see. So we're gonna cut this one maybe right here. 7, 8. Oh my gosh. Speaking of that, have you guys, I don't know if you guys have been around children lately, if you have kids, if you have grandkids, you guys, what is going, when I just said 7, 8, it reminded me of that thing kids are saying right now, these kids and their sayings, but 6, 7, 6, 7. I mean, I don't know. I guess I've reached the age where I'm not cool anymore because I definitely don't know. But I tried to, and this kind of tells how my age. Hold on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I tried to spray these. Well, no, I did spray them. 6, 7, 8. Let's see. 9, 10, 11, 12. Anyways, a lot of kids are saying that, and this definitely shows my age, as I was like, okay, I don't know what my kids are saying with this 6, 7 thing. I need to look it up. I need to Google it and see if it's inappropriate. You guys, I mean, it's so funny because it's like, I never thought, like, it's funny being at this age and this level of parenting, and I know I have much further to go, as I have, my boys right now are 5 and 9, but I mean, I remember being a kid and my parents seeming like they, you know, I thought that I was so smart and like so everything, and now I'm the parent. It's weird. All right, anyways, okay, let's count real quick. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I sprayed these to try to keep down the glitter, but they're still shedding. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sorry, I should have prepped this ahead of time. 13, 14, 15, probably 18. We got either 16 or 18. So either way, we'll be all right. All right, so I got my glue pot. I've had it going for a little bit here. We're going to start with the ornaments first and then do the greenery. So I got my glue pot that's nice and hot. I'm gonna come bring it on over, and I plugged in my glue gun just in case. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put like a little squirt right here. I tied these bells in. They have a really sturdy hanger, and I tied the bells in so I can tie them into the hook, and I'm gonna squirt a little bit of hot glue in there so that they are a little bit less floppy. Yep, technical term. All right, so I'm using my glue pot. I always, when I attach ornaments, I pull the hanger off so that we don't have to risk that hanger falling off when the item's on the wreath. I would hate to think that I have, you know, just put hot glue on that hanger and then it falls off on a customer's door. Because I know that even when we do our tree at home, you know, the hanger always falls off. So, I mean, I don't think that's very secure. All right, so we have 3 different finishes in these ornaments. Kind of a matte finish, then like a bubble, and then we have the glitter one. So I'm just going around. I did have the 3 bells on top, and then I'm going to do these ornaments all the way around. There's 12 spots on the outside. If you missed any of our portions of this wreath, just go back to my channel, and then they should have the video playlist, and they should have all the ones in order. And if there's any that you don't need to watch because you think that you don't need that stuff, then that's perfectly fine too. You know, that's kind of one of the reasons that I was hoping that these videos would appeal to people, is because, you know, not everyone needs help with the whole wreath, or maybe they're not even interested in making the whole wreath. Maybe they only want to know how to make bows better, you know, so just watch the video on bows. You know, that works. All about it. I know that sitting and watching a wreath be made in its entirety, you know, hours and hours sometimes. Hours. I would say with all the prep, a wreath takes 2 to 3 hours to make. But yes, I don't have the capability to sit and watch a full wreath being made. So I didn't want to sit and make tutorials that showed full wreaths being made. We're all busy. Whether you're a busy mom, busy grandma, dad, don't have kids yet, pet mom, whatever you are. I kind of wanted to try to appeal to other people. Everybody has different times. And all right, so there we go. We got all our ornaments on. After they're all dry, I'm gonna go around and just give them a little tug and make sure that everything is super secure. Now it's time to put our greenery in. I have enough of the ficus and enough of the turquoise greenery. This is so pretty. It has blue and green for each piece of ribbon. So just gonna be trying not to burn myself. And I'm just gonna tuck that right underneath the ornament. And that's why I added the ornaments in first, is because I didn't want to add this greenery and then add the ornament, because I didn't want the ornament to be sticking only to this greenery, because it doesn't seem, that wouldn't be as secure as if it stuck to the mesh or the ribbon. So I'm just taking a piece, kind of making sure that it's facing the right way. You can see on the back, there's the veins of the leaf. So I'm making sure that that's kind of in the back, because it's not as pretty as this side here. And then we're just going around. So you'll have to let me know what you guys think of this. I was saying in one of the other videos that you can kind of imagine how a wreath is going to turn out, you know, based on past wreaths. And, you know, if you look at some inspiration on Facebook or on Pinterest of different wreaths and that color combination, you can kind of get like a feel for how it's going to go. But you don't know exactly how it's going to go until you make it. Sometimes it surprises you. I've had that happen a time or two. This one seems a little long. So I'm going to stick this one down here, just because I feel like that one is extra long. And push that bell down right on top of it. Kind of get a little bit of an extra spot of contact there. tried to make these as even as possible, but I feel like some of them are a little longer. I'm trying to make sure I don't get any of that hot glue on any of the ribbon, because that would not be a good look. This is so pretty. I'm thankful I found that. And before a couple of years ago, I wasn't adding greenery in my wreaths at all. I was super intimidated, and if I did add it in, I would it would be florals, and I would just like rip the head off of the sunflower and plop it in there. But you know what? I think it was like Oprah that said, like, and she was obviously not talking about wreath making, but she was saying, like, when you know better, you do better, right? That's kind of, I mean, it's the same. I mean, life, kind of how life is, right? We all do the best that we can, and then when we know to do better, we do better, right? But at the time, that was the best that I knew how to do, and I was doing it to the very best of my ability, and I'm proud of that. And there was an audience for it. I did sell most of those that I did make like that sold, so there was a fit. I'm just pushing this down a little bit to put that up here. So pretty. Sticking this in. I love this step most in the wreath making process. So you kind of see how things are gonna all lay out. Making sure when I put that in, it's touching the back of the metal sign as well, so that it's just an extra contact point. Just going around putting all of our greenery in as when I hang this up and, you know, fluff it for it to make before I take pictures. I'll make sure that I look and see if there's any like leaves that are sticking out a lot, because even though I tried to make it all even, if there's any that are like way outside and looks a little crazy, you know, I'll trim them up. So I had the funniest thing. It's kind of like I don't know if they still do this or not, but I remember when I was younger, they would do like, I would say like Pinterest fails, you know, like you would try something that you saw on Pinterest, and then it like wouldn't turn out like the picture, and people would post them and it would be funny because you're like, yeah, you know, we've all been there before. We all tried something that we thought was going to turn out and it did not. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, you know, so much for that, right? But I have been spray painting ficus for a little while now. Since last year I tried with the pine cones, and you can spray paint pine cones. That's a good look. You know, I did those silver pine cones last year. But then this year I tried, not just this year, yesterday. I was like, all right, you know, if you can spray paint ficus, and ficus is plastic, maybe you can spray paint poinsettias, right? Girl, no, you could not spray paint. Well, you can spray paint poinsettias that are fabric, but here's what ends up happening. You use a whole can of spray paint and it doesn't turn out because there's just too many angles. There's like all these angles. There's the fabric portion of the poinsettias. It's just, it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess express, as they say. All right, so we're gonna add in our ficus now, which is in that silver tone as well. We're just gonna put it in there, and this is why I really like, you know what, on these ones, I'm gonna put this on the inside. Yeah, that looks good. I really like being able to spray paint. I know I'm like driving this idea home, but I'm really liking being able to spray paint ficus, all these different colors that I need. I like that a lot. I'm loving the way this is looking. This is turning out very nice to me. Making sure that my glue pot, I'm not getting any melted glue on the wreath that's right next to it, or I'm trying not to. Just gonna move this a little bit. Put that in there. It's just another little detail, and I think this is looking really pretty. I might put a little bit of the ficus on the inside of the sign like in here, if I feel like that hole is too big. I'll have to see. My glue pot is drying a little bit and I can start to feel it's starting to get a little stringy. I always use Gorilla Glue hot glue, but as it cools down, it starts to get some strings. And I'm just taking some of my ficus and some of my florals and I'm throwing them into that bow. Just another little added detail. There's 18 ties in this wreath, and I'm making sure that I'm putting some of this greenery in each and every tie. And a way that I can kind of keep track of what I've already done is I'll just put aside 18 pieces. So I know that when I'm all done, then I've used them all. So, yeah. And you can get ficus relatively inexpensively. That's what I'm trying to say. So, but if you go to buy silver ficus, it can be expensive. Because I know like Michael's and stuff like that, they sell colored ficus. And it's gorgeous. And it is colored on all sides. And it might look a little bit different, but I think this works. I really like the look that it gives, and it gives me a little bit of versatility in what I add into my wreaths, and I like it. My customers have been seeming to like it too. I sold a fall wreath last night, which was nice. It was one of the ones that we made on here. It had like a big black welcome sign. So that'll be shipping off to its new home. Just making sure that hot glue is connected. Making sure we're still recording. The other day, I don't know what, I think I touched the phone to try to get a little bit of a better view. And I turned off the recording part. And I didn't know it until I went to go turn it off. Excuse me. So that wasn't good. All right, so we're adding in our last couple pieces of ficus here. Sorry. I don't know if it's like glitter or what's going on around here. All right. Adding in these pieces, making sure that all the hot glue is under control. Staying put. I don't want to cover up my greenery, my turquoise foliage. At the same time, I want to make sure that I'm adding in these turquoise leaves. Okay. Let's see. I think I have 2 more pieces and then I have a few extras. So I'm hoping that, let me see, I missed some. Maybe I just have a couple extra pieces, which would be nice. I could put on the underside of that sign. It's possible. I'm just I've been trying to think about like future wreaths, and if by the time I go to make them, if it's going to be like snowing outside, I'm not going to be able to spray paint. All right, so I think I have 2 left. So I'm going to stick these on the underside of the sign, like behind the sign to close that gap. And just give a little bit more of a pretty look. Sticking that back there. And I got 1 more I'm going to put right here. And then we're going to be done. I'll make sure that I add a picture of the completed wreath at the end. I'll put this one right here. Sticking it to the mesh underneath. Perfect. All right, I like the way that looks, and we are done. I had 2 clear gems, but I don't think I'm going to be using them. I don't feel like it's needed in this necessarily. Make sure that we're making some connecting under here. All right, we're done. Oh, actually, I said I was gonna use my glue real quick to stick those bells down. So let me do that while it's on my mind and while my glue gun is hot. Although they might not necessarily need them now that I use that greenery to stick them down, but we'll put a little bit just in case. So we're just gonna hold that down for a minute. Yeah, I don't think it actually needs it, but spray a little bit down and just hold it down for a second. There we go. I do feel better doing that. All right, let me put a little hot glue down in there and then just stick it down in there. All right, woohoo! We are done. So thank you so much for hanging out with us today, getting this all finished. This will be listed over in my Etsy shop later this afternoon after I get some pictures. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks so much again. And let me know if you feel inspired by this wreath, or make sure you just subscribe so that you can see more tutorials like this one. Thanks so much. Here it is. I'll have to fix the bow. I see it's a little bit, it got a little bit manhandled in that ornament process. All right, perfect. All right, thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.